UPSC कमिशन बद्दल थोडी माहिती बघितली. आता आपण तीच माहिती डिटेलमध्ये बघणार आहोत. तर बघूयात की ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिसेस काय आहेत. All India Services AIS comprises three civil services of India common to the center and state governments, which includes the Indian Administrative Service IAS, the Indian Police Service, and the Indian Forest Service IFS. Civil servants recruited through All India services by the central government are aligned to different state government cadres. Some civil servants may later in their career also serve the center on deputation. Officers of these three services comply to All India services rules regulating to pay, conduct, leave, various allowances, etc. ह्या ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिसेस ज्या आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये IAS IPS IPS आणि IFS हे तीन येतात. तर त्यामध्ये सुद्धा हे जे काय आहे तर ह्या प्रत्येक जणाच्या तोंडावरती असतं. आपण ऐकतो की IAS बनायचं, IPS बनायचं, IFS बनायचं. कारण या ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिसेस स्टेट एम्ब्लम ऑफ इंडिया, फ्लॅग ऑफ इंडिया. The central government is the cadre controlling authority for all India services. जेव्हा सेंट्रल गव्हर्नमेंटचं कंट्रोल असते cadre control authority. In terms of the provisions for promotion regulations, the specific authorities are Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions for IAS, while the Ministry of Home Affairs in the authority for IPS, and the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is authority for IFS. Recruitment are conducted by the UPSC, Union Public Service Commission (UPSC) on the basis of the annual civil services examination for IAS and IPS and the Indian Forest Service examination for IFS. Since 2013 onwards, the preliminary test of the two examinations are combined. The All India Services Act 1951 provides the creation of two more All India services, namely the Indian Services of Engineers and Indian Medical and Health Services. These are the two services, All India services are added or created by the Act of All India Services Act 1951. We should go through the All India Services Act 1951 as well in the next video. The history of All India Services dates back to Indian British era, when initially civil servants were appointed by the Court of Directors of the British East India Company. The service in those times was known as Convenient Civil Service. With time, they came to be known as the Indian Civil Services (ICS). In 1947, with India gaining independence, Indian Civil Services was replaced by the Indian Administrative Services (IAS), and the Indian Police (IP) was replaced by the Indian Police Service (IPS), and were recognized by the Indian Constitution as All India Services. In 1963, Indian Forest Service IFS was created, and it was only existence in 1966. Power, purpose, and responsibilities. The All India Services Act 1951 empowers the Government of India to make, after consultation with state governments, rules for regulations of the recruitment and conditions of service of all persons appointed to All India Services. All India Services is governed by the All India Services Conduct Rules 1968, which specifies the code of conduct for civil servant in general. The All India Service Conduct Rule 1968 were amended latest by Government of India by notification published in Official Gazette of India on 10 April 2015. Nature of work. Responsibilities vary with the seniority of the civil service. Junior officers begin with the probation and move up in the hierarchy. At the district level, the responsibilities are concerned with the district matters as well as all developmental affairs, while at the divisional level, the responsibilities focus on law and order also. Policy framing is carried on at state and central levels. Allocations, division, and cadres. Cadre allocation policy. The central government announced a new cadre allocation policy for the All India services in August 2017, touting it as a policy to ensure national integration of the bureaucracy and to ensure all India character of the services. The existing 26 cadres were to be divided into 5 zones by Department of Personnel and Training. Under the new policy, a candidate first select their zones of preference in descending order, then indicates a cadre preference from each preferred zone. The candidate indicates their second cadre performance for every preferred zone subsequently. The preference for the zones and cadres remain in the same order and no change is permitted. Officers remain in their allocated cadre or are deputed to the Government of India. Zones under the current cadre allocation policy. Zone, these are the 5 zones, and near about 26 cadres are divided into 5 zones. Zone first cadres: Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Mizoram, Union Territories, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana. Zone second: Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha. Zone 3: Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Zone 4: West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland. Zone 5: Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Indian Administrative Service. IS officer. IS officers are trained to handle government affairs. This being the main responsibility, every civil servant is assigned to a particular office which deals with the policy matters pertaining to that area. The policy matters are framed, modified, interpreted in this office under the direct supervision of the administrative officer in the consultation with the minister. The implementation of the policies is also done on the advice of the officer. The cabinet secretary stands at the top of the government machinery involved in policy making, followed by secretary, additional secretary, joint secretary, director under the secretary, and junior scale officers in that order. These appointments are filled by the civil servant according to the seniority in the civil services. In the process of the decision making, a number of officers give their views to the minister, who weighs the matter and makes a decision considering the issue involved. The implementation process involves supervisions and touring, the allocation of the enormous funds to and by the field officers, calls for supervision, and the officials concerned have to reply to queries made in the parliament for which they must remain well informed. The civil servant has also be represent the government in another country or in an international forum. At the level of deputy secretary, they are even authorized to sign agreements on behalf of the government. A civil servant begins their career in the state with 2 years in probation. This period is spent at training schools, secretariat, field offices, or in district magistrate's office. They are given the position of the subdivisional magistrate (SDM) and have to look after the law, order, and general administration, including developmental work in the area under their charge. After the probation and 2 years of the services, as a junior scale officer, the officer is put in the senior scale. Then they may function as a district magistrate, managing director of the public enterprises, or director of the department. Senior scale comprises the senior time scale joint secretary, junior administrative grade additional secretary, and selection grade special secretary. Selection grade is given on the promotion after the 13 years of the regular service. The next promotion within the state is that of the commissioner cum secretary after 16 years. This promotion also entitles them to super time scale. Then after after 24 years of regular service of the IAS officer may be promoted to above superior time scale, who is designated as principal secretaries and financial commissioners in some states. Each state has many secretaries, principal secretaries, and only one chief secretary. Some appointments of the secretaries are considered more prestigious than others. Example: finance secretaries, and development commissioners, home secretary, and hence they enjoy the salary of the principal secretary. The chief secretary in the state is the top ranking civil servant and may be assisted by the additional chief secretaries in other in some cadres states, example New Delhi finance commissioner and other high ranking secretaries such as additional chief secretaries enjoy the pay of the chief secretary. The district administrative head is the collector or deputy commissioner or district magistrate. The DM, collector, DC handles the affairs of the district, including development functions. They necessarily to all rural sectors, inspecting the special projects, disputed sites, and look into the problems of people on the spot also. At the divisional level, the divisional commissioner is in charge of their division. Their role is to oversee law and order and general administration and developmental work. Appeals against the divisional commissioner are heard by the chairman of the board of the revenue. Indian Forest Service. India was one of the first countries in the world to introduce scientific forest management. In 1864, the British Raj established the Empirical Forest Department. In 1866, Dr. Dietrich Brandis, the German forest officer, was appointed Inspector General of Forest. The Empirical Forest Service (IFS) was organized in 1867. IFS officers appointed from the 1867 to 1885 were trained in Germany and France, and from 1885 to 1905 at Cooper's Hill, London, which was not noted professional college of forestry. From 1905 to 1926, the University of Oxford, University of Cambridge, and University of Edinburgh undertook the task of training empirical forestry service officers. From 1927 and 19 to 1932, forest officers were trained at the Imperial Forest Research Institute at Dehradun, established in 1906. Later, the Indian Forest Service IFC, Indian Forest College, was established in 1938 at Dehradun, and officers recruited to the Superior Forest Service by the state and provinces were trained there. Forestry, which was managed by the federal government until then, was transferred to the provincial list by the Government of India Act 1935, and recruitment of the Imperial Forestry Service was subsequently discontinued. The modern Indian Forest Service was established in 1966 after independence until under the All India Services Act 1951 for protection, conservation and regeneration of the forest resources. India has an area of 6,35,400 km designated as forests. About 19.32% of the country forest is included in the concurrent list. Rank of the Indian Forest Service are as follows: Assistant Conservator of the Forests, Probationary Officer, Divisional Forest Officer (DFOs), Deputy Conservator of Forests, Conservator of Forest (CFs), Chief Conservator of Forest (CCFs), FS, Additional Principal Chief Conservator of Forests, Additional PCCFS, Principal Chief Conservator of the Forest, PC, Principal Chief Conservator of the Forests, PCCF, and Principal Chief Conservator of Forest, HOFF. Highest post in the state, Director General of Forest, India. Highest post in cadre, selected from amongst the senior-most PCCFS of state. The training of Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy is designed in such a way that the Forest Service officer, after completion of the probation, should be hardened enough to serve in the most difficult terrains of India. Another remarkable feature of this service is that it needs keen technical knowledge along with the excellent administrative capacity to deliver the duty. Government of India is also providing harassing fellowship to forest service officers to get specialized in the field of remote sensing and geographical information system from the ISRO, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, and University of 20 ITC Netherlands, and in wildlife management from the Wildlife Institute of India. The Forest Service Commission officers also work in various international and national organizations related to the management of forest, wildlife, and environment, such as Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, International Center for the Integrated Mountain Development, SARC Forestry Center, Forest Services of India, Wildlife Institute of India, Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy, Directorate of Forest Education, Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, etc. Besides getting entrusted with the senior position in the Central Secretariat, State Secretariat, and various assignments under the Central Staffing Scheme. Indian Police Service. The Indian Police Service, more popularly known as the IPS, is responsible for the internal security, public safety, and law and order. In 1948, A year after India gained independence from the Britain, the Imperial Police (IP) was replaced by the Indian Police Service. The IPS is not a law enforcement agency in its own right. Rather, it is a body to which all senior police officers belong, regardless of the agency for whom they work. An IPS officer is subjected to and faces several life-threatening, crucial, complicated, and harsh conditions. They are entrusted with the overall internal security of the entire state as Director General of Police (DGP) and entire district as its Superintendent of Police (SP), and in metropolitan cities as Deputy Commissioner or the entire city as the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police they enjoy magisterial powers. The IPS officer takes charges as an Assistant Superintendent of Police of subdivisions circle after probation of 2 years. The tenure of this post is normally 3 years. The next appointment as the Superintendent of Police or Commissioner of Police after 4 years. They get promotion to junior administrative grade after 9 years. Then they serve as a senior superintendent of police and get pay selection grade level 13 in the 12 and 14 years. Then as deputy inspector general of police or additional commissioner of police in 15 years and inspector general of police in 18 years. Additional Director General of Police in 25 years, and finally Director General of Police after 30 years service. IPS officers also work in national government agencies such as the Intelligence Bureau, Research Analysis Wing, Central Bureau of Investigation, etc. IPS officers also get highly placed in the several PSUs such as GAIL, SAIL, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, etc. at the State Secretariat, the Central Secretariat under the Central Staffing Scheme, and the CAPFs at leadership positions of the National Security Guards, Border Security Force, and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, the Central Reserve Police Force, and the last थोड राहिले range problem. Central Reserve Police Force and the Central Industrial Service Security Force, etc. An IPS officer has vast opportunity to work in several international organizations such as the Interpol, International Cricket Council, the United Nations Consulate, foreign missions, and embassies all over the world in various capacities such as the First Secretary, Council, Council General, Deputy High Commissioner, Minister High Commissioner, and the Ambassador, the General, the Director General of Police, and Commissioner of Police in the head of entire police force of the state and metropolitan city, and Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, etc. And below him is the additional DGP, Special Police Commissioner. The Inspector General or the Joint Commissioner of Police is at the head of the certain specialized police force like Criminal Investigation Department Special Branch. Reforms. In January 12, 2012, the government amended All India Services Rule 16.3, which permits the central government of the consultation with the state government to retire the public's interest, the incompetent and non-performing officers after a review on the completion of 15 years or 25 years of qualifying service or attaining the age of 50. The recommendation by Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions from year 2014, state civil services are required to clear the 1000 marks four-stage process including the written exam and interview conducted by the Public Service Commission to get promoted to three all India services, which was previously based on solely on basis of seniority and annual confidential reports. Expected reforms, creating the remaining two all India services as an provided by the All India Services Act 1951. Indian Service of Engineers, and this service is yet to be constituted. Indian Medical and Health Services (IMHS). The State Reorganization Commission had recommended constitution of more All India services for promoting national integration. This was considered at the Conference of Chief Ministers of all the states and central ministers in August 1961. Following this, the December 1961, the Rajya Sabha passed the requisite resolution under Article 312(1) of Constitution, and the All India Services Act was amended in 1963 was provisions for the creation of three All India Services, namely All India Services of Engineers, Aviation, Power, Buildings and Roads. The Indian Forest Service constituted with the effect from 1 July 1966, the Indian Medical and Health Service. The Government of India, in consultation with the Public Service Commission, had promulgated the following three rules and regulations for Constitution of India Medical and Public Health Service with effect 1 February 1969. The Indian Medical and Health Service Recruitment Rules 1969. The Indian Medical and Health Service Initial Recruitment Regulations 1969. The Indian Medical and Health Service Cadre Rules 1969. As per the rules, the officers holding class first post of the class 1 post for of the Central Health Services would be allowed. State cadres, after consultation of the IMHS, they would be considered as central deputation and after a tenure would revert to their state cadres. The states of the Tamil Nadu and Mysore did not agree to participate in the scheme of the services. The constitution of these services were delayed further. After attempt was made to constitute IMHS with effect from 26 January 1977, but these notifications were cancelled later. Gazette Official Order of the Precedence in India, Central Civil Services, Civil Services of India, Civil Services Examination, Indian Railway Management Service, Combined Service Exam, Engineering Service Examinations, Combined Medical Service Examination, Indian Public Service Commission, Staff Selection Commission, Public Service Commissions in India, Indian Institute of Public Administration Appointments Committee of Cabinet, Ministry of Personal and Public Grievances. These are the references list and external links. We have to go through these links as well. Thank you.